Anyways, thanks for the successful recording. We can get on with the story. Preparation for the screen share tomorrow.
That should end our vegetable shortage.
I ever tell you my old man's a farmer? Feels good to know I'm helping farm folk out. Growing up on the farm, I was always helping with the harvest, out there in the field. I'm serious when I say veggies are king, too. The more you eat, the healthier you get.
Well, yeah, just look at you.
I agree. A lot of nutrients vegetables offer can't be found anywhere else. Plus, I feel like vegetables are a way to take in the power of nature as a whole.
Power of nature, huh?
Yeah. Plants grow by absorbing energy from the sun, the soil, even tiny microbes. Eating vegetables is like getting all that natural energy right from the source.
Never heard veggies told quite like that before.
Never heard them called explosions
Tell you,
either.
boss, you got your head on right. You got my mark.
Thanks, Largo. That means a lot to me.
Hey, boss. Let me tell you a stupid dream I have. My folks' old farm went under, and I want to start it up again. As an organic veggie farm.
Ooh, organic.
Funny, huh? Big macho man goes from flinging bullets to being king of the carrot patch.
Not really. Most farmers are pretty tough.
I'm not laughing. If you're dedicated, I'm sure you'll grow some fine vegetables. Once you're all set up and harvesting, you'll have to let me sample what you've grown.
Boss, you'd be welcome to eat all you wanted. But you'd have to help with the harvest. And out on the farm, I'm squad leader. Be ready for the workout of your life.
Workout is right. Like I said, you got to be tough to be a farmer.
I'm feeling good today. Veggies for all.
So this is the chapter where he really gained his respect. Yeah, right after the crazy operation. So this happens right after it. Which explains why in this one he's a lot more, he's not quite as, you know, unfriendly. He's a lot more friendly to welcome. Ooh, got quite a bit to go through. So let's see what happens next.
Having been driven back, the Empire retreated from Barius, and Squad 7 began its return to the capital of Randgrease.
I'm worried, boss. The scouts were due back a long time ago. Haven't heard a thing.
Welkin, we should look. The enemy could be closer than we think.
Right.
Hold on! Where are you going? Don't be an idiot! Who's gonna drive the tank if you get hurt?
Largo! We've got to move our butts now! 2 more minutes and we'll be dead!
Damn. No choice. We're outnumbered. Everybody take cover!
Come on, Isara! Now!
Right.
So Largo's a military man. He was able to cope with the worst, that they both died pretty quickly. Able to get Isara back on track. But of course they're not dead.
Where?
Welkin?
Oh, good. You're awake.
Where are we? Is everyone all right?
It looks like we got separated when that blast threw us down here.
Oh.
Alicia, There are probably still Imperials camped out up there. It's just a matter of time until they spot us here. We should move as soon as we can. Are you hurt anywhere? Do you think you can walk?
I think I'm fine. Ah! Scratch that. I think my ankle's sprained, actually. But I should be okay. It's not too bad to walk on.
Sorry, I know it hurts, but you've got to tough it out for now.
Of course.
Great.
Who you're talking to?
Now, let's try to sneak out of this mess before we're spotted.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, looks like getting into the action. Wow, we have sub-chapters, I think. Because look, you can see a map here, and that one on number 5, you can see another map. So that's actually 2 missions within the same chapter. So, I actually think I'm gonna end it here for the next session.
No, I pretty much have to. I want to eat food, but that's probably not for an hour or so.
Okay, sure. Okay. Cool. So, also, how's everyone going as well? I haven't seen you guys for ages.
Oh, I'm doing fine. You guys can see this, right?
Yep.
Cool. I have it set up so that we go right into the map. So yeah.
Alicia, here's a map of the area. Looks like they've got us surrounded.
Cool, so what mission is this?
This is the first. There's actually 2 missions in this one. You'll be only 2 units out there in positions to be. They just had a bomb thrown at them, so now they're separated from the rest of the squad.
Yep.
To escape
Yep.
the murder they set up out there.
Have you done this one before?
Darkness. Yeah, but it was years ago, so I don't exactly remember how you go about this. You do the form of invisibility. Okay, this is the second mission, actually, where they're doing the whole darkness thing. Actually, the first time it was a side mission that I did on my own, which was what I used to test it last time, so, yeah. You'll see no sightline for enemies more than a set distance away, and be unable to see them in action mode. So, that's what the darkness, or nighttime does to your visibility. No access to wireless, communication tanks, meaning no orders. So no, I don't use orders anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right, ready to start moving? Let's sneak out of their perimeter without being spotted.
Yeah, I thought that going into this one, it was quite a novel idea because there's much fewer enemies, and there's this whole, like, everything is concentrated around this
Wow,
this whole
it's really
spotlight
gotten dark.
gimmick.
The lack of light
Right.
means it's harder to see
And
enemies in
so,
the distance. So
Initially,
watch
I
out.
thought, well, this will be
Ow!
just different, you know. I thought it was really different.
your ankle gonna
And
make it?
then later on, I got to a bit, and
Sorry.
yeah, maybe
I don't know how much I can
we'll
run
talk
like
about that bit
this.
a bit later on.
That's all right.
The other
You
thing
set the
that's really
pace and
weird
I'll
about
follow.
this level, so it's set at night, and
Oh.
when you're playing,
Right?
and like when you're just selecting your
Is that
moves and
sound
moving
a
your units
mortar?
around, there's like no background music at all.
Have they spotted us?
No
Which
background
is-
music, okay.
No, their aim
Yeah,
is too
which is
far
really
off.
weird.
They're
Because
probably
usually
trying to scare us off with
we're
it.
used to it. Like, and even in like a lot of games
If we're
where
careful,
there's
we
a
can
like a
predict where
nighttime
they'll
thing,
fire
they'll
and
do it,
steer
you know, so
clear
it's a
of the
bit quieter.
target
But in
area.
here, it's just no background music at all.
It's probably because this is a sneaking mission in the dead of the night. So, oh, you can probably hear our crickets chirping. Actually, let me raise the volume on my TV.
Mm.
Okay. I don't think
Yeah.
I hear anything. I'm afraid of letting the TV, like, letting my microphone hear the TV, so that's why I can't boost it too high.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the TV yet.
Same.
Also, for this one, what you want to do is you want to get what is it now? Basically, you want to get the two of
Bridges up.
them a bit past that circle. So just to the right of that circle, yeah, just about to there. And there's I think there's one guard on the way. As you're going, yep. That's basically the road around.
Okay, yeah, I can actually just see it on the map. The what color is this? White part, yellow? I don't know. Yeah, this bridge here is busted because big X here. So I know that it's actually doesn't look like it's a straight path though, because I can see there's a little area in between here.
That's right.
There's
Yeah.
another fork around here, or a little donut shape, and this one is 2 donuts or a figure 8. You can see it right here.
Yeah, it is something like that. I find
Also,
generally that the maps are really hard to read, especially
My turn, okay?
in the desert level with the sandstorms. Like you can't, yeah, it's hard to
shit,
pick
she's
things up. Also, stay close to the right-hand wall as well here. Otherwise, that guy will. There's a guy just around the corner who'll catch you out and start attacking you.
Yeah, I was kind of anticipating that because... Hang on, the grass is up there. Alright, let's... Where's the grass? In the grass. There we go. Okay, well, it looks like I'm safe.
Yeah, then you go towards the fireflies.
They shouldn't see me in the grass.
Enemy unit
I
spotted!
should see them. Yeah, he can't even see me because you can see that blue line.
Yeah, he's facing the other way, I think.
Okay, hang on a minute. What the fuck? The frame rate. Alright. What the... Oh. Fireflies.
Yeah, there's a few of these
Hey,
cutscenes.
welcome.
I
What's
think
that light?
that the fireflies are meant to be like
Oh,
kind of
that's a
waypoint
lucifer. It's
waypoint markers.
bioluminescent, the same sort of
But
thing as a firefly.
yeah, I kind of forgot about them after a while.
Hey, wait. The
And-
luciferin
I'm
feeds
sorry,
directly
I didn't
into
catch
you.
that because there was actually someone at my door.
Oh, I think that the fireflies are meant to act like waypoint markers.
With luck, it
One
might
of
let us
the
sneak past without the enemy spotting us.
one of the problems, though, is that I guess they stand up, but yeah, I think they don't always present the optimal path or something like that, or it's really obvious. I'm not sure. Yeah, I wouldn't
Can't
shoot
really
him
see.
yet. Yeah, wait until you get around. I try to move Alicia around to the little Herbie.
Hang on, wait. I think I can shoot him from here. Wait. Yep, there we go. Oh my god. She's so good.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, try to move her close to the little plant thing, because up ahead Welcome can heal her. Actually, you probably don't have enough. No, you don't. Yes, you have to do 2 moves of her. Move her close to the plant thing, and then get yeah, I'd move her first. And then when Welcome meets up with her, he can do the heal thing and increase her. Yeah, just that little blue one.
Oh
there.
wait, that
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
thing
yeah.
you're talking about?
And then you just kind of
Wow, you probably didn't even need to tell me because it's so like
clearly signposted. Yeah.
just yeah. So okay, I guess I just stand next
Is
to
it a
it.
Healy plant thing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Welkin, who like loves plants and animals and
Here we
stuff, he
go.
can come over and heal her. Something that I hate about this mission is that just those talkie segments, you can't skip them quickly, and so after you've repeated this like 10 times, it gets really annoying.
These leaves. Great.
Also,
Like,
This is Ponicera.
yep.
I was going to say, it seems rather
What's up,
cutesy for
Wilkins?
somebody that just, capped a guy in
It's
the
a
head.
wild herb that works well on bruises.
Yeah.
Just have to grind
The way
standard
that
leaves down.
this game
Alicia,
handles
let me
some
put this on your
serious
ankle.
themes is a bit, yeah, kind of
It-
like
It
bad
kinda
anime
stings,
style.
but I think it
And
hurts a little
the
less now.
the girl Alicia,
you,
like
Welkin.
very obviously has the hots for Welkin.
Okay,
And
let's
Welkin's
push
like
on
this
ahead.
pseudo
Yeah.
like this
Find
kind of
more
kind
Ponicera
of
growing
bug
nearby.
nerd guy. Who likes talking about exoskeletons and stuff like that. And it's like it's so obvious and silly and yeah. So I think the story's not very good.
I don't. I don't know. I mean, maybe some of the darker themes, like I know the stuff with Isara.
Oh yeah,
Actually, that's about as dark as it goes. I haven't seen anything darker than that, but otherwise, everything else, I mean, I find the characters to be pretty charming.
yeah,
Like Largo.
yeah. They are nice. I mean, they're very. Each character is quite unique. So
Yeah, you can see the spotlight from there and see its pattern from here.
yeah,
It's not exactly going in a circle, it's more like going in an L shape. See
yeah.
that?
It's quite clearly signposted.
Also, you can see the
like you
mine
said.
there.
That's one of the
Yeah,
advantages
there's
of
his
this level
corpse.
is, well, so basically it's a series of paths where one path is obviously the wrong path and the other path is obviously the right path, and everything is pretty clearly signposted, which is quite different from how things usually are. Now, I reckon you've probably got Alicia out of the blast. Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, she's well out
yeah,
of that
so
blast.
you can see the blast zone was where the soldier was, which kind of doesn't make any sense, right? Like the blast. I don't know what it is.
It would have blown him up?
Well, they wouldn't have blown him up, but they would have been pretty close, which in real life doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, you can see, if you see just below, you'll see his X quite close to the circle. In any case, I mean, this obviously tells you that, take the outer path, otherwise that'll happen to you.
Yep. Oh, there's another one there. Okay.
Yeah.
Mortar and spotlight. Alright, let's see if I can do this. So, obviously we're going to want to take this path as close to the bridge. This spotlight, though, is
Yeah.
the one I got to watch out for, so...
It's a bit tricky.
Ready to go.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you, like, what to do, or do you want me just to provide comments? Because I feel like there's so much trial and error in this game that it's worth knowing what to do, but it's up to you as well.
I've actually been doing pretty good. The one exception being Operation 4, where I had a tank, like, snipe the backside of my tank and, like, one-shot me, I think almost, like, halfway across the map.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I'm like,
My list of good things.
wow, that's...
Better keep our heads down out here.
I think that's a little bit weird, because, like, hang on, let me pause. Okay, that didn't pause. Select? How do I pause? I guess you don't. So, like, the only issue I've had so far is that I think their tanks are, like, a lot more accurate than mine.
Oh,
Because one of their... Actually, no, it wasn't even that, the tanks are too accurate, because one tank just, like, shot me out of a sniper tower and was like, what in the hell? It's like, you just look at that, it just looks weird. Okay, that grass is my safe spot.
Is the orange bar the amount of move you have, as well as how many actions you can take?
it's
Yeah, the orange bar is
move.
my move.
Yeah. There's no limit on your on the, I guess, the actions, so like shooting and healing, things like that. You'll see after each turn is over, it will display the map, and you can select each unit, and there will be these medallions at the bottom, and those medallions are kind of like your action points. And so most units have one action point. Yeah, each most units.
I found him.
Good. Most units have one action point. Tanks tend to have 4.
Look at this shitbag. He thought he was clever. He was trying to get me from the other side.
Yeah. The only problem though.
But I got the jump on him.
Yeah. The only problem is, though. Oh.
Grenade.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Eat grenade.
So I'll just explain the stats. Yeah. I'll just explain the stats just quickly. So it would have taken 22 shots for Adrian to have killed that guy. And the reason why it would have taken, the reason why it would have taken 22 is because he was in grass. Sitting in grass.
Yeah. But now?
Yeah.
Boom.
And so this is something that...
Dead man.
This is something that often comes up in Valkyria Chronicles where
Yes!
You have to
you
use
go up to
the grass and the sandbags to get the defense boost.
yeah, that's right. You'll often go up to an enemy and you sneak up behind them and they'll be behind a sandbag and you'll point the gun at their head and it's like 22 shots to kill them and you're like, what? See if you can get past this bit, Adrian. You should be able to get into the middle and then get to the section after that.
Yeah, I don't know, because the thing is, like, this is I've already moved in Welcome once, so let's see if I can. Wait, this
Yeah,
thing
you-
goes in a clear circle, so that's really
Yeah.
predictable.
So just go to the little part. Yep.
Yep. We're pretty
Gun is
safe.
Yeah, hold
out
it.
now. Does that
Oh,
mean you
wait,
can't-
blue flower. Blue flower thingy. That's what I
Yeah,
gotta
try
go
to get
for.
Try to get to the blue flower. Sorry, Seb?
The gun is crossed out. Does that mean you can't use it again this turn?
That's right.
That's right, yeah. Because he's already attacked.
Right,
I'm
so you've
near
got
the
one
heels.
attack.
Okay, so if you went up to this thing with Welkin, it would have just told you, okay, bring Alicia here. Alright, I'm
That's
gonna
right,
end my
yeah.
turn.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting
Moving out.
kind of hybrid of like Fire Emblem and what's the other game I'm thinking of? Fire Emblem and kind of like Tactics Ogre and those sorts of games. Yeah. So how familiar are you with this game, Seb, and also with other Japanese developed RPG strategy RPGs?
I'm not very familiar with this game, but especially the movement bar reminds me a lot of Breath of the Fire Dragon Quarter, which has a set of action points that you can use to move around a sort of space and attack with, and certain attacks take more AP than others from this bar. So it's very much on the kind of moving around and getting people moved into the right places so that you can hit them with certain attacks or defend yourself from certain attacks. I really like the system in that game.
So you weren't a fan, because I know that that game is quite polarizing.
Yeah, I think it's a good game, but it's possibly not the most accessible of games, but I like it.
Hmm.
The,
Alright,
I
here we
don't like the
go.
optional dungeon
Okay, it's
thing
good
that you
there.
have to do with these ants in that game. I don't know how well you know it.
Yeah, I've heard and read a bit about it. Yeah, so there's a dungeon, right? And if you mess up, you have to do the whole thing again?
Okay.
Is it something like that?
That's the main storyline. So the main storyline you can fail because there's like a hard limit on how long you've got to complete the game because you're one of the characters is slowly dying of poison, and if you don't get to the surface, they're going to die before you get a chance. But if you reset the game, you can keep certain optional experience points in order to give you an advantage next time you play through, and it changes how some of the cutscenes work. If you're playing them for a second, or third, or fourth time, it unlocks other cutscenes and things.
Woo!
Wait,
Got past it.
Hey.
but the thing that's annoying to me is there's these kind of
Yeah.
ants that you can talk to, and there's this kind of management sim of an ant colony that you do alongside the main game. And
Wow.
essentially the big reward for doing that right is you unlock an optional dungeon which you can go into to get very high level rewards for your characters. And I didn't like playing that kind of side game.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how some of these RPGs add these little distractions. It reminds me of Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle, which have like these town building games in it as well, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, why did you put this again? Oh, weapon destruction
Yeah.
in games as well, as I seem to remember being really annoying.
Hmm.
There we go. That should keep me safe from the mortar. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just outside of it, so I'm safe. See? Right outside.
Yeah, I reckon you could have actually passed that area, and then have got welcome to heal on the next turn. But
Yeah, it didn't seem like her AP was decaying that much with every successive movement with her, so I probably could have.
yeah, I think as we can see so far, like there's not really a lot to the challenge. Well, at least in this level, it's really just like choosing on between two obvious routes, and then just pushing forward, moving through space. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's really not a lot to it. Up ahead, where there's a few more enemies, so at that the figure eight part, which isn't actually a figure eight. It's more just kind of like a straight route and then a side route. But yeah, there's a bit more
My turn, okay?
going on there. And also, I was going to ask Adrian, do you tend to save when you get to certain points in the game?
No.
Okay, I started doing that in this mission. So I found on the next part really tricky because there's a really strong
Vulcan.
unit just around on the corner.
I think I gotta end my turn first.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a
Here we
really
go.
strong unit like just around on the corner, and he kept on wiping me out all the time, and it just pissed me off.
Alicia, here's some more
And also
peninsula.
seems
Let's get this on
Seb,
that ankle.
before you asked about like interactions
All right.
and if they take on points and things like that.
Thanks. It hurts even
For
less now.
these little contextual things,
That's
it doesn't
good,
take
but
up
still,
like.
don't push yourself.
So because Adrian's doing this, it doesn't mean that he can't attack later on. This is actually like just a special gimmick just for this level, and normally you don't do this one.
Whoop!
Yeah, just
There
go
we
around
go.
the corner. Yeah, very slowly, very slowly.
Hey, he has a name. Ty the Immortal. That's cute.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it's cute till he kills you like 10 times. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, if only I could do that thing where you push L3 and like move it on the other shoulder. So let's see.
So there's, I think there should be 2 people here. One quite weak.
All right.
And hide behind a tree.
Grr. Bring it. Actually, wait. Can I bomb him? No, he's way too far. I'm just gonna try to shoot him from here.
Okay. Yeah, what I did, yeah, you just do your move first. Let me do some things.
Ha! No counterattack. No get.
Yeah. Hey, see, this is like, another thing is, I don't know when they do counterattacks and when they don't, sometimes. Like,
Pull it together.
clearly you're out of his range, but I remember when I did this level later on, it was like, yeah, it was pretty rough. Like, for some reason, on this first turn, just like you, he wouldn't counterattack, and then later on, he would.
Watch this. I'm gonna get a team attack. Yep. See, you see Welkin's name on the top right there. I'm gonna get a team attack.
Oh, okay, yep, cool.
oh, that's a bit like.
Motherfucker! Oh, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna get him next turn.
So that's
Yeah,
if
you
you're in
might-
a certain proximity to somebody, you can trigger a team attack.
Yeah, that's
My
it.
turn, okay?
If you see their name in the top right corner, that's how, yeah, like that. That's how you know you got a team attack. I'm gonna move a little
I
closer.
guess, Daniel, that's
Enemy
obviously
unit
that's
spotted.
not.
Hang
based
on,
a
there's actually
particular-
2 guys.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it not based on visible stats, like whether or not you're the percentage chance of getting a team attack or percentage chance of getting
That's-
a counter? Is that instant
Shock.
or not?
Yeah, so executing a team attack is based on proximity. As to how well you like your accuracy when attacking, that depends on not actually on distance, which is really well, I'm just thinking. I don't really think it's based on distance. Maybe there is like if you're really up close, it might take more, but generally speaking, it doesn't seem to be like that. Really, on the big things, the big variables that affect accuracy are firstly their physical locations. So like if they're behind a tree, then you just can't shoot through the tree and get them. Otherwise, it's if they're hiding behind a sandbag, or if they're hiding in grass, then that affects their visibility.
Oh, he ran away.
Ability to shoot, your accuracy. Yeah. What I did here is I actually grenaded the tree that the other guy was hiding behind, and then I attacked him.
I love that you can do that. Blow up the trees.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then I actually
turn,
snuck
okay?
up on Ty the Immortal, who's I just couldn't beat him out here. Be very careful when you use Alicia and when she's in his range.
Just gotta take it slow.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, but that's just the
There he
scout,
is.
Yeah. Yeah, Ty the
Wait, that's
Immortal
just a
is-
scout? No, that's Ty. Because look,
No,
it's his name, and you can see the shock trooper symbol next to his
oh,
name.
yeah. I mean, you just killed the
Oh,
other soldier, not
yeah,
Ty. Yeah, Ty's really hard.
yeah. Look at that. He's got. Actually, I don't know what the standard health. I haven't quite got that down to memory yet. So let's see if he's right there. All right.
I reckon
If I
you're
can
best off just staying where you are with Alicia. Like, if you move her out anywhere into his range, like, he'll just cut her to bits.
Okay?
Yeah. The fact that you can actually see his sight line is enough that you know that to be careful. Because in the desert mission, they didn't have their sight lines, even though you could see the arrow icon above their heads. Like, see that sort of Zelda-looking arrow icon above his head?
Yeah.
Like in the Sandstorm mission, you would see that, but you wouldn't see their sight lines, and that's how you know you were okay.
Oh, wait. So if you can see their sight lines, then that means they can see you?
Yep.
Ah, Jesus. That makes... Wait, but how come he didn't counterattack you if there's a sight line above your head, which means that he can see you?
Because you have to get in a certain distance before he'll actually start firing. And I need to
My
move
turn,
Alicia.
okay?
And what's that distance though? That's the thing is, like, we don't know what
Can't
the
beat the
distance
smell
is.
of fresh soil.
Well, I don't think you really need to know, because you can... Yeah. There we go, that's perfect.
Please hit.
Ah, This guy's a slippery one. I think he's got a... Because he's a unique enemy, so he's probably got a different evasion stat on him. My turn.
What's funny is there's a slight delay between the video and Adrian's voice, and so just before when you went to attack Adrian, like as you were going to attack, we heard "ay," I'm like, okay, he missed.
Yeah, the preview window, it can't show... It's a little delayed from what I'm actually playing.
Yep.
And the mortar is way off over there. Okay, we're good. This is like the boss or something of this
My turn,
mission.
okay?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, he gained some health, so let's see if I can...
Yeah, something else to consider is that you've also got, pardon me, you've also got grenades and other grenades and some healing items, and you can only use one of those per turn.
Damn, he dodged again.
And you'll see on the, I mean, the interface is kind of a bit crappy, but you'll see on Alicia in the bottom right, it has that little infinite symbol, which means that you can
Yeah,
use.
there's no ammo on it.
Yeah, which means that you can attack with the gun as long as you have action points in the bank.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
with other units like
Damn!
guys with
4 headshots.
yeah,
She is so
with other
good.
units like guys with rocket launchers, they can only do say 3
Yeah, that's right, 3.
attacks per round. Yeah, and otherwise, on one of the turn-offs up ahead. No, I wouldn't go that way. I'd probably go.
I'm gonna use
forward?
Welkin to scout
Here we
and
go.
see which is a good way,
Yeah.
because he's got more AP. Okay, you're going that way, but I can see that mine there. So I
Yeah,
guess I
I mean,
can
you
just
could
go
al-
straight.
Well, I mean, you could always go around to the left. There is a mine just as you turn the corner, but if you stick to the right on the as you make the left. Oh, okay. Yeah. Should all be clear around there, I think.
Yeah, there's Ty's rotting corpse. Some immortal.
Yeah. Something that I really don't like about this game is that initially it seems really kind of innovative and new because you can actually aim manually. But then after a while, you realize you just take I think it's the right from here. And then after a while,
Gotta
you
love
realize
nature.
that actually um, being able to move around and shoot in third person doesn't actually add a lot to the game, because when you're attacking an enemy, you probably need to aim for their head. They usually don't have any other weak points or anything like that. And moving around in space is like, it just takes more time and it doesn't really progress the game in any interesting ways. So yeah, so in the end, it's kind of like the third person aspect. I mean, it kind of feels neat because you're like, oh yeah, it's an SRPG with third person elements, but then you play it and it's like those elements don't really add much to the strategy side of the game.
I don't know.
Moving out.
Also, best way to take her is straight, since that's the fastest for
Yeah.
dodging that. This is like one of those moments where you can almost play like an action game. Moving and dodging around stuff. Like I had a neat moment where
Hold
I
together.
exploited the reload time of one of the shock troopers by hiding behind a tank, waiting for the sight line to turn green, and then running up in his face and shooting him during that time. Look, there's another flower. But is there another guy here?
Yeah,
There's
I
a
wouldn't worry about
spotlight.
that. Just go straight for the exit. Be careful. I think there's one or two guys just around the corner, and that's it. So yeah, I
Here we
mean,
go.
yeah, there's not really a lot of strategy
Gotta love nature.
to the game, I think. It's kind of on the Rizoma, Mike said that it's kind of like an RPG trying to be like a
There's some more
third-person
Punasara
shooter
again.
and trying to be a strategy game, but kind of not. Like,
The pain's
it
mostly gone.
looks like
now.
it's a strategy game
Thanks
because it's
again.
got maps and things like that, but actually
I'm
it's
just
more
glad
like
it's working.
a kind of an RPG. Like all the
So,
focus is
Vulcan,
on the RPG systems,
Is
and
that
the
stuff
RPG systems
edible?
don't really tie them together to do anything
Why?
interesting for
Are you
the
hungry?
strategy side of the game.
Huh?
Like
No.
you get
I'm
experience,
just.
and then you just use and you
I
put that
wondered if I
experience
could use
into
it in
your
a new
units,
bread recipe.
and they just level up, and that's it.
Oh, I see.
That's all that has to do with
Flowers have a
anything.
sweet nectar to them,
Then you get
so
these
it
Uh,
must
weird,
be good.
funky contradictions everywhere.
You tease me. We're sneaking around the woods
Yeah,
and you're thinking of baking
I
bread.
don't know. I mean, after just coming off the Embrace the
I
Abstraction
wanna hear
series,
it, Nature Boy.
she's pissed. After the Embrace the Abstraction
Okay,
stuff,
okay.
I feel like
Let's move on.
that's not like some of the stuff like having a stat placed against the manual aiming. Like I don't feel like it's really a big deal. I mean, it's not too hard to play around. Hang on.
Yeah.
And for the most part, this game is pretty. It actually cuts down on the RPG bullshit a lot, because like I haven't leveled up a single unit. There's no. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
leveled up a,
remember-
a single unit, so I've been able to get through this pretty good without having to do any leveling up or any customization and stuff.
Really?
So
Like you haven't gone to the training grounds or gone to
nope.
the infantry bit wow, okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that maybe just goes to show how useless those parts are. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to do that. I mean, it's for like making the game easier if you wanted to. Like, if you want to kill guys faster, you can get better guns or something. Or if you level up your units, I think you can actually like upgrade their class. Wow, that light came close, but man, I'm such a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I updated all of my levels and equipment and everything, and yeah, and I was still like getting stuck on levels. I mean, I'm not sure what your experience is like,
Like,
Adrian.
I had a super clutch moment with the Batamus, But that was because, and this really has nothing to do with the RPG junk, but it was because Silvaria was like hugging the side of the tank that I needed to sneak up on. So I had to like do a death run, a mad dash right past her, get up the tank, and then blow it up. And while that was pretty awesome, it was pretty uh, weird how she would not get away from the tank when that was the thing I needed to do in order to win. It was like an actual person was playing the game and using a cheese strategy against me. It's like, wait, what are you doing? Let me win.
I mean, Mike, Jonathan, and myself had a chat about Valkyria Chronicles on the Rizoma, and it's just like I see what you're saying, and yeah, it's I think it's certain aspects are quite like pleasant, like it looks nice and it's kind of I don't know, like this game's kind of neat, I think. In how it combines different elements, but I find it as a strategy game, it's yeah, there's so much like information that it just doesn't give you, or there's
Oh,
like
I'm inside it. I better get out of there. Yeah.
um,
So,
yeah, so like knowing how much damage that you're going to take off of some units, knowing when you're going to be into a unit's counterattack range, knowing, say, in the desert level, the length of the sandstorms. Um,
that's just one
um,
turn.
just yeah, but like I remember at the time that I did it, like I was going through, I'm like, okay, this is fine, and then it just I was halfway through sending my guys across the break in between the two trenches, and then the sandstorm
My
went
turn,
away,
okay?
and they were all exposed, and then they all died, and then I had to repeat the whole mission again.
Uh,
Um,
Whoa,
yeah,
I
like,
should have been paying attention.
yeah, and so
Which
just
way is easier for me?
you know, it's hard to make good choices when some key information is unknown. And I know that Richard has a thing where it's like, you know, missing information and all that stuff, but this is actually a bit different, where it's like information that you need to know to make smart moves. Like it's kind of like certain parts of this game reminded me of in Fire Emblem, where you get to the end of this really hard mission, and you're about to take the throne, and then 5 guys just rock up and they all attack you in the same turn. And like you couldn't have planned for that, you couldn't have known for that. Same kind of things in this game, where you reach a certain point and then something will happen that you weren't expecting, and yeah, and then you're screwed.
It seems that by withholding that information, that's kind of a sort of resistance, right? Like the game it's resisting you playing it at that level by withholding from the stats from you. It's like, no, we don't want you to engage with this game with these stats like this. You don't. You shouldn't be playing it like that. You should play it in a slightly different way with the leveling up, and don't worry about these numbers behind the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually not too unusual. I mean, Advance Wars and Fire Emblem, for that matter, both do that. Like all the actual math behind the little battle charts you see whenever you go up against it. Oh yeah, she's just right outside of it. They don't actually like show you any of the math for that.
Yeah, but before you attack, you can see how much damage that you're going to take off. So
Yeah, before you attack. In this one, they sort of do it the way XCOM does it, where it says, "Oh, this many shots will kill the guy," but you still don't know like what the exact numbers are for the damage, and kind of don't need to. I mean, you can sort of figure it out by like what the multiplier says, like 5 hits to kill. Okay, that means I'm going to do roughly this amount of damage.
Okay, this is
Relative to
probably
but then
a
what
safe
happened
distance.
before, right, is you went to attack one of the units, and then he ducked, and he avoided all of that. And you didn't know that he was going to duck.
Moving
I
out.
wasn't expecting him to duck, but I do know enemies can duck in this game. Because
But
it's
like, you know, sometimes I'll come up right behind an enemy, go to headshot them, and they weren't expecting me, and I'll duck anyway. And then also think like on the sandbag and the grass thing, like the 22 shots to defeat that unit before. I'm like, oh
We
god.
should be safe
Like,
here, at
Like
least
it,
for a little while.
form doesn't really fit function
Let's
here.
look
It's
for a
not
spot where we
really
can rest.
intuitive. And it's like,
Right.
I want to play
It's
this
too dark
game
to cover
where
much
I'm
ground
looking
even
at
if
the
we try.
information and I'm building strategies, but they keep on hiding this really important information that I need. And because I'm not getting this information, like because I don't know how long the sandstorm is going to last, because I can't, because of the map doesn't always make it easy to read height, um, because some units, um, because some units are hiding behind sandbags, and others are
Who'd
just
build a
standing
cottage
around
way
it,
out here?
and you don't know what the
Not that
difference
I'm
is,
complaining or anything.
um, and things like that. I just find it's like, yeah, like I always make mistakes, and then I always have to repeat
How's your
what
ankle
I've done
holding up?
10
Sorry to
times
make you walk so
per
far.
mission. Yeah, so I mean that's
No,
my
it's
experience
not
with
too
it.
bad.
But
Don't worry.
judging by this playthrough so far, you've done
That's good.
pretty
Still,
well. So
let's get an
I'm
herbal
not
compress
I'm not
here,
sure.
just in case.
But yeah, a lot of these points, Mike and I
It
and
just
Jonathan
figures you
too
know
have
about herbs
discussed
well.
further on the rhizomas. So
Oh,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
so much, so I didn't read all of it, and I'm
This
sorry.
here is called Aloe
But
severa.
yeah, I
It's a
think
succulent in the lily family.
Mike in particular was the most thorough.
oh yeah, absolutely,
There's
yeah.
a jelly substance
Mike
inside
is
its leaves
really,
that
I
helps
mean,
combat
the
swelling.
two of us really love strategy games, especially
I should
Japanese
start calling you Dr.
strategy
Nature.
games. But yeah, Mike is much
Very well, Doc.
more
I
knowledgeable on the
entrust my
topic than I
ankle's
am.
care to
So
you.
yeah, he did
Yeah.
really well. And also, I love his comments on the story, which are quite amusing. Um,
All right,
so
that should do it.
yeah,
How's it feel? A little
um,
weird?
No, it's nice and cool.
yeah,
Thanks,
and
Doc.
just for reference, as
I'm
well.
just
So
glad we
you
found
have all
something
these
to help.
missions,
The
and
pain should ease with
it's kind of
time,
like
too.
the campaign
So,
structure is
Welkin,
set out
what got
in
you
a comic
interested
book,
in nature to start with?
or well, not really a comic book, but
I don't know.
like an old
I
wartime
guess
book
it had a lot to do with my
that
dad's
is
influence.
um,
General Gunther's?
and
Yeah,
each
whenever he came
chapter
home,
is
we'd take a
like
trip
two
collecting bugs in the
open-faced
mountains or
pages of the
swimming.
book, and then you can go through and select all your cutscenes
Somewhere
and view
along the
those,
way,
and then you can
going
select
on those trips
the
turned
mission.
into a love
And
of
so
nature
it's
for me,
kind of
too.
presenting it like an
General
anime
out
series,
collecting bugs? That's
with
unexpected.
with these missions
Maybe
to
so.
like
I guess
that
other people
break
see
up
him
that
as a
series.
big,
So it's kind of
stoic
nice
military
because it
hero.
is kind of like watching an anime and playing a game at
Yeah.
the same time. So
I
yeah,
actually do really like that you can. Do you have
He had his own
cutscenes
share of worries, though.
in these nice, discrete, chapters that you can pick, and they don't have to front load it all into you at once, like in certain games.
mm, yeah. And if you like, actually, it also makes it easier to
My mom
avoid
died as a casualty
some of the
the First
cutscenes because
European
you're just like,
War.
oh, okay, well, this is all cutscenes. Push select, I think
Dad ever
it is
got
you
over
can
the
cancel
fact
the
that
whole
he couldn't
segment and keep on
protect her.
going. And there's also optional boxes
But
presented on the
everybody else was
pages where
always
you can get
praising
extra
him for being
information.
a great hero.
With additional
award won him
cutscenes, and so
respect
it's
and
nice that that's
adulation,
kind of an optional
but
thing.
it also cost him the
Yeah,
love of
I mean,
his
I think
life.
it's easy to understand why people
think that
got
always
caught
weighed
up
on
in the
him.
vibe of this
The
game because
question of
like
what he
the
fought the
the
war
visuals
for.
really neat. It's kind of like
I had no
a
idea.
anime and game hybrid in some
But
parts,
he was out in
and
the woods playing with
yeah,
me.
I just
He
think
was
that
always
the
so bright
nuts
and
and bolts
happy.
of the strategy isn't so great.
Maybe I fell in love with nature
So
because it
maybe,
always put the smile back on my dad's face.
like, here's what I'm kind of getting from it, in that because of the real-time element and the imperfect information, it's not as focused on interesting choices as much as, say, Advance Wars, where you know everything, well, minus the Fog of War missions, you pretty much know everything on the map. This one has a lot more,
Oh, Welkin.
well, like you can almost kind of play it like an action game, and there's also a bit more improvising to go on, like when you see a unit or when your attack misses. Actually, you kind of have that in XCOM and Fire Emblem 2 when you're dealing with risk management from any percent chance that you don't get the full onslaught of damage that you're hoping for, because it's like 60% per each bullet you shoot or something like that. And
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I mean, some people I know, like, they say that moves should always hit 100% of the time, and I'm like, no, there's room for having strategy games where there's a bit of, probability in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you've described Valkyria Chronicles as is pretty accurate. Yeah. Um, yeah. And we each have our own ideas and stuff. So yeah, I always find like when it gets to the point, it's like, well, I like it, and you're like, well, I don't like it. Well, I like it. I don't like it. Then you can't really like you can't really say much more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah,
Uh,
a lot of the other bits of info Mike have discussed as well, and I know the problem with games like this is that trying to explain why it's what the issues are with it is quite tricky, and it's not like it's a few different things put on together that make it that create these issues. And so yeah, I would suggest the Rizoma, but but I think Mike said it's kind of like an RPG game that's presented like an SRPG.
uh,
Where it's not.
what does that
I mean,
mean?
as you were saying before, it's not really about like interesting choices and things like this. It's more like walking through these levels, getting into these kind of like battles, and so on.
Well, it's
Yeah,
I say that because the from what the definition we were working with, it was that interesting choices require you to have a certain level of information, which means that they do happen, but that's when you've done enough scouting so that you know what you're dealing with. Like that moment there when I already knew Ty the Immortal and the scout was there, like that was when you see interesting choices because you see them, they're right there, and you decide how you want to go about it. It's the parts. Well, actually, it's kind of like that with any fog of war game. It's like what I kind of got from that is that it's very hard to have any game purely about interesting choices. Any game that has like
yeah,
any element of randomness or imperfect information, it doesn't exactly qualify as interesting choices, but I still think it's interesting in itself. Like even Pokemon. So, yeah.
yeah. I guess on the best way I'd put it is that Valkyria Chronicles is more of a tactical game as opposed to a strategic game. Now, I'm thinking Richard has covered a bit of this before. Basically, tactics are kind of like quite general, quite general plans. Like get everyone across on the bridge or move into this area or something like that. Strategy is more like a complex task list of specific actions that you're going to make, and so I think Valkyria Chronicles, and I mean you get this with Fire Emblem and all Tactics Soga, all the JRPGs, Japanese strategy RPGs out there, where it's kind of on the scale of tactical to strategical, based on like, so I would say like Tactics Soga is a bit more tactical because the game is so complex in the way that you can customize your units that it's hard for the levels to squeeze you in particular way, to squeeze you towards understanding and using certain strategies. So with Valkyria Chronicles, I would say that a lot of the strategy in the game is quite simple, and so like you're not looking at a lot of layered elements that each have their own decay meters and things like this. It's all relatively simple, and so for that reason, I'd probably say it's more on the tactical side of things. Now, it took me ages to get my head around strategy games and how they work. Yeah, so like I had to do a lot of research and then a lot of reading on it. But yeah, that's kind of how it works from what I understand it as. I don't know if my explanation's been that helpful, but yeah.
I think I kind of get it, because I mean, I loved Advanced War Days of Ruin, and in that game, well, because everything is laid out in front of you, they are able to sort of stack more enemies in, these kind of intricate formations. So you're planning many moves ahead, and thus the specific plan of action that you said versus a more general one that you would use in games like XCOM or
Yeah.
actually
And even
Farming's
like
lesser.
in Valkyria Chronicles, like we don't. There's so much variability because the game is set in 3D space, and the characters have these invisible areas in which, if you enter them, they'll respond to your attacks, and then you've got other things that you can't foresee. I mean, and partly also because your view is limited. I mean, you can see the map, but it's kind of like every map is kind of like a fog of war in a way. Like, I mean, because you're limited by what you can see, and some enemies don't show up until you see them.
Yeah.
And all of these things, they make it so that you can't have a very clear plan, like a precise step-by-step plan for what you're going to do going forward.
Yeah,
It's kind of more general, like, okay, well, I got to get to this point, and I got to make sure these guys are safe and stick to the left, and but not quite like,
yeah. I mean,
step by step in detail.
with that kind of thing, there's a lot more anticipating and dealing with things as they come along, because it's changing. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Normally, my word for that would be. Oh wait, no, we do have a word for it. It's the adaptation one, where
Yes.
yeah, things change, and you are able to deal with it. In Advance Wars and kind of Fire Emblem, that isn't normally how they play out. They usually have everything out in front of you. But in
Yeah.
XCOM, there is that whole line of sight thing, and you sort of play around that. And
as you mentioned, there's a probability thing, though. I mean, even if, like in Fire Emblem, or at least the most recent one, your proc rates for various effects and stuff. And so, but you might be relying on one of those to kill an enemy, and if it doesn't, then you need to be able to adapt to the situation of, oh, that thing didn't work,
Yeah.
now I've got to do something else so the guy doesn't get killed by the person with the bow that can shoot
yeah.
3 squares away.
Whereas in Advance
think-
Wars or chess, you're pretty much guaranteed a piece if you're positioned just right.
Yeah. And even with those probabilities in Advance Wars
Oh,
and Fire Emblem, like you're shown those before you attack, and you're well aware of those, which kind of isn't always the case. I mean, it's a bit more complex than this, but yeah, in Valkyria Chronicles, like there's that information like not getting, there's the form not meeting the function, so there's stuff that you're reading that isn't actually what you think it is. Yeah, things like that.
wait. Where was the form not meeting the function? I don't remember. We've been actually at this for quite a while after I finished playing the chapter, but I need a refresher.
Yeah, yeah, so like in real life, if someone was lying in grass and you were going to shoot them in the head, it would just take 1 bullet.
Oh.
In Valkyria Chronicles, it takes 22. If you sneak up behind someone who's behind a sandbag, they're still protected by the sandbag.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually make sense because you've snuck in behind them.
Yeah.
That's yeah, things like that.
I find that
and
not too
and also-
offensive.
Yeah, and also sometimes where you've got like in the desert level, I remember once I tried to sniper one guy, and my guy was in the trenches, and the bullet clipped a bit of the terrain that was kind of like an invisible part of the hitbox that, like it didn't look like it was there, like it looked like the bullet would just pass, like would just go straight ahead and shoot him, but it just hit this invisible wall and it wouldn't get through that. Stuff like that's annoying.
Well, I can kind of back you up on the weird collision things, because there was one moment when I tested this Wednesday where it looked like I could go up a hill, but I actually couldn't. But you know, it's one of those things. Oh, I can't go up there. Okay, whatever. So it's not the worst. There was another though where I accidentally got, I think, Alicia stuck between two other guys, where she like ran between them and then I couldn't move her out even though there was so much space. That was
Yeah.
lame. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember. I think that's the defenses from, you know, crouching in grass or kneeling behind it. Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing that the Embrace the Abstraction series would like cover, because I think about it, what if they didn't have those things? And well, one is that it would be they wouldn't be as useful because it'd just be way too easy to sort of circle around guys, shoot them in the back of the head, and then like that's it. In fact, yeah, circle in the back, shoot him in the back of the head, yeah. And I think it's like some of this game would fall apart if you didn't have those there. And they're not the hardest things to understand. It's that it tells you, okay, you get defense on this thing that normally you hide under defensively. It's like, okay, I get it. It's one of those goofy game moments that you can make fun of in like a webcomic or something, about how getting shot in the head doesn't lead to you being a smear on the ground.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and the problem is that like those things come into play when you're going to make a move in the game. Like usually, like you know, we get things like that. If you die, you can just push retry and come back again.
Yeah.
And so on. That's fine.
But
yeah. Anyway, I reckon we might move on to another topic, and then maybe come back to this if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.